Why not? We're live. Go. Chickens,
All
rats,
right.
run to the hills. Run, 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 run for the hills. Chickens and rats are coming to get us. Oh my.
Well, sort of. I mean, I think I finally understand why people don't like rats. Now that I've had to deal with rats that rats that are wild, I don't like wild rats. I like the tame ones. They're cute.
Mm-hmm.
I like tame rats. They're awesome. I don't like the wild ones at all.
Uh-huh.
They are nope. We've been working against the rats for a while. We've managed to clear them out from under the balcony. They don't come in there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we've managed to pretty well clear them out from the chicken coop, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it took us a bit to understand that they were getting into the chicken coop. Turns out the walls have shifted and it's caused these little triangular gaps along the roof. I think that's where they were coming in.
Yeah, because I'd sealed that thing up, keep rodents out.
Oh
But
yeah,
if it's
but
all shifted, yeah, that's what's happening.
yeah,
Hey,
we're getting little triangles.
Hey, Hamdian, how you doing? Welcome to the pre-stream. We actually have a real pre-stream today. Not that we'll have any much of, important on it. But thinking of which, it's I've been playing around with the sound and audio settings here. Let us know if anything sounds odd or unusual in the sounds.
Yes, please do. So yeah, the walls have been shifted. We've got these triangular openings where the critters can sneak through.
Mm-hmm.
And chickens are really good at hiding when something is going on. I didn't realize what was going on because well, the chicken that I guess she's one of the lower caste chickens, so she's usually like on the outside or on the ground. Um it was her feathers. Frizzy is her name. She's a frizzle chicken. Her feathers curl outwards, so it would, I guess, also would have been easier for the rats to grab. But they've been chewing on one of her wings, her feathers. They've been chewing the feathers off of one of her wings, and that's the only part of her that has missing feathers. I checked them over for mites and everything like that. For anyone else who's listening and has chickens, I already checked all that. They don't have anything going on. They're actually really healthy, except they are looking rather stressed. And now that I know that there's rats getting in there, I know why. I had thought also that one of the chickens, I thought the eggs were getting bigger, so we were getting like fairy eggs. I don't know if anybody knows what those are. Fairy eggs happen often when the chicken's egg is going up in size. What happens is the shell is super thin because the egg is bigger. They didn't create enough, I guess calcium is what they create to create the eggshell. And well, it comes out and it's so thin, if they step on it, it pops.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out I don't think it was actually fairy eggs that we've been dealing with. I think the rats have been going in there for the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they realize that the chickens have feathers, which they can steal for their bedding or just chew on. Apparently, our chicken feathers taste good. I don't know, but
Who knows?
it's been happening for probably about a month.
Mm.
I didn't realize it because Frizzy keeps her wings tucked in. And it didn't occur to me that, oh, Frizzy's not really jumping around and getting up on top of the compost lately. I guess she's bored of it and has moved on to something else. No, she was hiding the fact that her wing is uncomfortable. And our chickens aren't like super friendly where you can walk up to them and just scoop them and give them cuddles. They don't like that. They are cool with you being near them, but they don't want you touching them.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a lot of our animals are like that. What does that say about the people in our house?
Well, well, it works.
But yeah, so I don't know exactly how long this has been going on. I know we've been getting what I thought were fairy eggs popping for about a month.
Mm.
So they've probably been sneaking in there for about a month. We've noticed the gaps, and steel wool for blocking holes to keep the rats out. I am totally going to do that. That is really a good idea. Thank you for that. Steel wool is also really cheap.
It is pretty cheap.
Yeah. And since it's like these weird triangles, that's probably a better idea than trying to use the little chunks of chicken wire we have laying around to fill up the gaps. Because we were just going to get in there because I have to go and get the shavings so we can clean out their coop today.
Mm.
I was just going to get in there with the chicken wire and the staple gun, and I was going to like staple up chicken wire all along the edge, which I will still do that, but if I can do that on the outside, all the better.
Yeah, do that on the outside, stuff steel wool on the inside. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that will be the best option. Thanks for that, Hendian. That's awesome.
Maybe the chickens won't pick at it.
They don't really seem to be interested in the roof. They're
Mm.
more interested in the floor and the wall.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't like these wild rats. They need to just go away.
Yeah.
We've been setting up a few traps. We've caught a few of them, luckily.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling that they are nesting in a couple places that we're not going to be able to get to.
No, you gotta find a way to poison them out of existence without poisoning the cats.
Yeah, I looked into that, and apparently they can't puke. So you can take, those fizzy things that people use to clean their dentures.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that, crush it up, put into peanut butter and a little bit of honey, and then put that on bread and give it to them.
Mm.
And if your cat or dog gets into it, they'll get a bit of a foam in their mouth and they'll puke a bit.
Mm.
They might or if they eat the whole thing, they might just have some pretty nasty gas for a bit.
Mm.
Kind of minty, apparently.
Mm. Yeah.
It won't hurt them. It will, however, hurt the chickens if they get to it, though,
Yeah.
because they also can't puke. Same idea as giving any birds dry rice, which, if
Mm-hmm.
anybody doesn't know, don't feed them dry rice ever, because it'll expand in their tums.
Yeah. Nice job, Hamdian. Scare the rat out.
That's awesome.
Scare the rat away. That's a good way to get rid of them.
Hey, whatever works.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the continuation of our current chicken saga.
Chicken saga.
Yep. Otherwise, though, the chickens are pretty happy for the most part. They're really happy with having a chunk of the yard to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The allotment of yard they get is slowly shrinking as we use more and more of the beds.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But they don't really seem to mind. Also, got approached by a neighbor. He said that he would like to have chickens in the yard, so he wants us to make a little door in the fence between our houses and let the chickens at the yard.
Ah.
That was kind of cool. I don't think he realizes what he's saying. I don't think he understands what chickens do.
Chickens are very destructive, especially where grass or anything
Yeah.
else like that is concerned. They'll shred that in no time. Proof is that wonderful grass that was under the apple trees there is now dirt.
Size of a mature house cat for a rat? Dude, where are you? New York? Or Australia? New York or Australia, man. Those guys have the biggest rats.
Well, yeah. In multiple ways.
There's something, I can't remember what it's called. It's not a rat, but it's similar to a rat.
Well,
People have these things as pets, and I don't even remember what they're called.
Hmm.
They're really kind of cute, though.
So I guess we got no complaints on the sound audio coming through, so I'll assume everything is going well there. And we're not quite there yet, but we're getting close up to music time for showtime. So any people listening, let us know what the sound is like, because I've been tweaking with the sound to try and make sure it was better. And of course, I can't hear it. Well, I can, but then it comes through as a super loop when I do that.
A super loop. Oh, when it sounds like you're in an echo chamber?
Yeah, well, I can turn it on for a bit.
No. A super loop. Oh, when it sounds like,
See, just like that.
oh, okay.
That's
not so bad.
It loops it back around. It sounds good to me when I play it, when I turn the sound on my monitor for the stream. But what happens is it can actually I could actually create a loop that will just keep going and going and going.
So, have you been reading the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy lately?
Not lately.
Okay.
Not lately. What happens is I told you the titles. Well, I have at the bottom of my thing, you'll see there's like 35 of them now. And I used your suggestion there. I took a D20 and I rolled it, and number 7 was the one that the title was just randomly chosen, because I have a list of titles there numbered, and I roll the die, and whatever one shows up, that's the title for next show.
So the dice idea is working. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's working great. And with that being said about choosing our title, a little bit of music carry us right up to showtime.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
There we go. It must be time.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 650, and we have plugins for glowing management and with, oh, wow. Blah, 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 blah.
You can do it.
You gave me a tongue twister, that one. All right, we're going to roll that one right back. We're going to start that one all over again because, well, that's just the way it goes. One more time. Must be time.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress Plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 650, and we have plugins for glowing management with supreme accessibility and some WordPress news, all coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today. Couple of quick things. I really don't have much today. I'm suffering from whatever this fur ball is caught in my throat and carrying on to the best of my ability with the show. So with all of that being said, we'll just randomly.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
Aha, so that's the trick. Get you to eat something that causes phlegm, like maybe drink a whole cup of milk or something. Then you have to cut yourself off early.
Yeah, well, a whole bunch of gargoyles hiding in the back of my throat right now. But we'll carry through. We do these things just for all of you out there listening to our show. We bring this show to you every other week. Well, I bring a show to you every week now, but just for you, our listeners.
Well, welcome to episode 650, your ultimate guide through the WordPress plugin galaxy from WP Plugins A to Z. Yep, long name.
It's shorter than last one.
That's true. It is a bit shorter.
It's a bit shorter than the last one.
And I do like it because it's very much going with the theme that my brain has caught on to today. Been thinking about books a lot. And it reminds me of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yep.
So we've got a couple of great in-depth plugins to cover for you, some recent news in both the WordPress world and the tech world in general, and a couple of great WordPress tips. Hopefully everyone out there is doing well and keeping healthy despite the tiny little Death Stars floating around. For those who are unaware, that is all the pollen out there. I know that not all the pollen looks like Death Stars, but enough of them feel like Death Stars. I just call them tiny little Death Stars now. I don't like them. Cottonwood is the worst at this time of year, and I really, really don't like cottonwood, and it's everywhere where I live. I could like go out and make pillows from this stuff if I want to.
Yes, the cottonwood is really bad this time of year there.
So a couple of reminders. Every Monday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time brings you a show from both John and I, or just John. He does his interviews, and then we do our show together, and it alternates. So either way, you'll catch us at that time every Monday.
Well, the show I do without you, I start at noon.
Oh, early bird, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, join around noon, and you'll catch us. Doesn't matter which week, you'll catch one of us. Join around noon.
Yeah, noon to noon 15. We try to do the pre-stream here at 12:15. So.
And show notes are added to the site WPPluginsAtoZ.com within 24 hours of the show airing. And and this is a value for value show, so help us get some loving by hitting a couple like buttons, sharing an episode or two, or just turn it up real loud, and that way others who have never heard of us before can enjoy our sultry voices.
Absolutely.
And this week's featured artist is, I was guessing Firefly.
No.
I guess I'm wrong.
Grok created this. It's the first time I've managed to get Grok to create me something decent in a long time.
Awesome.
So, Grok is better with text than Firefly. For some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. But yeah, and Grok created it, and Grok is, he's created all our titles. All our titles were created by Grok.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And Grok has a thing about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody's interested in sending in their own art, like human-made art, that would be awesome. You can send it in to us. Go to WPPluginsAtoZ.com/artwork or hit the link here in our show notes. Also, check out our art vaults. Have we gotten around to restoring those yet?
I'm still in the process of that. I never seem to have enough time.
Fair enough.
It's like the plumber's pipes need plunging, the mechanic's car needs brakes, the usual. The cobbler's kids have no shoes.
All right, well, on to the news.
All right.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
And the first thing I have for today is WordPress vulnerability report from the Solid WP. Now, this one has a total of 359 of vulnerabilities. I was kind of sad to see that number because last time it was only 88. I was really happy. This time it's 359. 341 of these are plugins from this week, with 18 of them being themes. Now, of the plugins, we have 191 patched so far, and 3 of the 15 themes, or 3 of the themes patched with 15 left to go.
Mm-hmm.
So have a look through this, see, and make sure that that any plugins you use normally are not really are not having an issue. Sorry, my brain is just kind of turning out because I just had a cat who was freaking outside the door, and child having to go get the cat. It was a little distracting. Sorry about that. Next up, we have WordPress vulnerability report from PatchStack. And these guys are actually doing really well. They've surpassed Microsoft now for the amount of vulnerabilities they've reported, which is pretty awesome.
Well, they have a nice bug bounty program, which
Very true.
which helps encourage the white hats to find them and then responsibly report the issues before they are made public. So thereby giving the developer a chance to fix it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. These guys are making news. I'm really proud of them, and I really do like their site. And I like the fact that when they do update their site, they don't make massive changes to it. It just looks a little better.
That's the way you're supposed to make changes, is little by little, instead of one day people are used to something and the next day they can't find their way around.
It is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, PatchStack is great. We have it semi-integrated into our servers when people use WP Toolkit. PatchStack is used for checking vulnerabilities in the back end on our site, on our servers.
It is the best that I've seen to date.
Well, theirs is reported in relative real time.
So the next thing I have on here is WordPress.org. Their plugin submissions have surged 87% amid rise in AI tools.
Well, yeah.
Now, that's kind of awesome, but also I'm probably being a little pessimistic here, but I'm thinking that a good portion of these new plugins have not been fully tested. And now that they are out there, they're going to cause some issues, if not with your site itself, then with security.
Well, the problem there is only if your plugin gets listed in the repo, it's reviewed for meeting certain minimal levels. The only ones that will be a bigger problem are the ones that, go to GitHub and download it and you don't know how to read code and you say, this looks cool, and then you run it.
And that is one of the problems, because a lot of people have been going to GitHub and other repositories that may not have the same checks that people have to meet.
Yep.
And they give it a really good explanation and they make it seem really cool, and then your computer is dead.
Well, not necessarily your computer, more like your website.
I'm thinking extreme.
Yeah.
But it is something to be aware of. It is really cool that more plugins are being developed because more needs are being met. Absolutely. It's awesome. But also be aware. And if you don't know how to read code, find someone who does, or find a way to have it checked. Like, do you know if there's any ways to have a plugin checked? There
are some automated tools. There's one, I can't remember the name of it now. I use it. It's a pre-checker. It's a plugin you can install on your dev site. So if you're writing a plugin, you can run your plugin against this tool, and it tells you whether or not it meets all the stuff for the repo. And it does a lot of checks. There's a few pre-checker tools out there for people that don't have the time or don't read code as well. Everyone thinks AI is so great. Well, it is great, but it makes a lot of mistakes.
It's great as a tool. It is not great as a replacement for humans.
That's exactly it. Yes.
Next thing I have here is WordPress sites cost up to 44% less than proprietary CMS platforms. And this is from a WP Engine report. So that is true. I mean, the platform itself is free, but the whole thing is not free, because you have to pay for your themes, your plugins, your this, your that. There's all kinds of things that you end up paying for on this. So it's not totally free. However, with the 44% less cost, unfortunately, right now, it seems like it's fantastic. It's just going to continue growing and all that. But actually, there's been a little bit of tension around this, around these low numbers, wondering if they're actually getting what they need from this platform.
Oh, absolutely. Well, here's how it's working. And there are a couple of discussions on it last week in the X field. And one of the things is people are leaving Shopify to come back to WooCommerce because they became very successful in Shopify. And once you hit a certain level of success there, your costs go up exponentially to the point of paying like $20,000 a year to run your business. Whereas the same exact thing running in a WooCommerce can cost you less than $5,000 a year. Granted, the initial costs are going to be like 10 to 15 grand to build it out, but still overall your costs are less. So, and I read the article on it once last week. I should have grabbed it, but I didn't think to. But anyway, it is happening that all these proprietary CMSs like Shopify and others are great for the beginner or the person who needs the lowest cost possible to get started. But once you become successful, you have to think about WordPress. And plus, converting back from those is actually quite difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing too is when you are looking at platforms, try to think 3 and 5 years ahead if you can.
Mhm.
That's the other thing too.
Well, that's the whole thing. You want to be thinking way up, way ahead.
Yeah. MDN said 44% less cost equals 44% more of your time spent on maintenance. So which is more valuable to you?
Hire a maintenance company such as WP Pro A-Z.
Exactly.
It won't cost 44%. It'll cost less than that. But then you have a maintenance company managing it for you, and that eases even less headaches.
All right, so I've got 2 more things here. One of them was sent in to me from a friend, and it is Harvard CS, so Computer Sciences 50, a free computer science university course. The entire course has actually been put up on freecodecamp.org's YouTube channel. It's 25 hours, and it's for beginners. But something that I continuously find is anything that is made for beginners still has a lot to teach me.
It always does.
Exactly. So it's definitely worth checking out. It's a Harvard course that is now free access. Absolutely go grab that up.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the last thing I have here today is called the Camel Principle. So I don't know how many people out there are Terry Pratchett fans, but for those who are, just think of the book Small Gods and the camel that was named You Bastard. That was the camel's name. I'm not swearing. And he was the best mathematician in the whole world, in the entirety of the Discworld. And he was a camel. And this is the camel theory. So it made about as much sense to me as Terry Pratchett's camel made when the camel was doing math. But if it works for your brain, this is probably really helpful. I just wanted to bring this to the table and show it up, and hopefully it helps someone out there.
It made absolute sense in the fact that you can't split an odd number, but if you borrow one more item, you get an even number, and then you can split that even number and still have one item left over that you can give back.
No, the beginning makes sense. I'm talking about when he gets to the more intricate stuff further on.
Oh, okay. I didn't read all the way through. As soon as I got to this stuff, as soon as I got to the mathematical formulas and algorithms, I quit reading.
This is the part that the camel principle doesn't really help me anymore.
Yeah.
But
that's where I went, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Time to move on.
And then there's some extras here. Here's a couple of comics you can go and check out, and there's also a bunch more information that is connected to WordCamp, but not connected to WordPress, but isn't super important. It's like some WordCamp stuff and other items. Definitely worth checking out.
All right. Well, with that being, I think I could hear it through my headphones. He gave me the side eye.
I think so. I think he must be saying something very rude there, because he seems to give you quite the look every time he hears it.
Yeah, well, it was his own fault. That's him talking. All right. Well, here we go with a little bit of Rose Corner. A couple of quick things. I don't have a whole lot this week, but I do have one item here. It's some coding tips. And what we got is it's a discussion over on Reddit, and WordPress 6.8 is breaking update discovery for plugins not hosted on .org. Now, this is a big one because premium plugins aren't hosted on .org. They're reliable, but not just premium plugins, but people who have their plugins hosted on GitHub, etc. With 6.8, not always, but what's happening is it'll come and show that you have an update for the plugin, but you can't click on it to do the auto update. You have to manually update it. So something is breaking on it. It's a big, long discussion about what people have suggested be done with it. So if you're a premium developer, you're hosting your plugin somewhere than .org, go check this article out. It may help you solve whatever problem is occurring for you. All right. Educational items we got here for you. If you're looking to learn more about WordPress, links here in the show notes. There's several of the links here. Go learn about the WordPress core. It's over at WordPress.org, and it takes you into the very basics of WordPress, learning the file structure, learning how it pulls in the different things, the APIs, learning about the loop, learning about how themes work and how plugins work, how it all ties together. But the biggest one is making sense of the core load, what files are loaded when and what they do, and bringing in the jQuery and the core, etc. Especially if you're going to be building plugins or tackling things like that, you'll want to know how it's impacting everything. Like you can, with plugins, turn multiple things on and off in WordPress. You know, you can change all kinds of things in different places. There's a whole lot you can do, as I'm discovering as I move through it. But anyway, this is a really nice collection of site links to take you through it. There's from the developer at WordPress.org or .wordpress.org on the common API hooks, the WordPress Codex, which pretty much is something you really want to learn. So go check that out. And we've got a couple of quick tips of the day, which are, of course, let's mention Influence, WP, where there are some fantastic deals over there. Lots of different deals, and you can get from everything from plugins to SAS to themes to hosting, extensions, lots of really great stuff. Go check out Influence WP. And then, of course, we have the alternate repo right now, which is at repo.org, and go check that one out. All of that, it is now. Oop, wrong button. Try that again. All right, time to talk about my plugin this week here. What I've got for you this week, it's a plugin, but it's not a plugin. It is for managing your WordPress websites. And it's for managing multiple WordPress websites. It's perfect for agencies or small developers who have more than one site to manage, and any developer has more than one site to manage. And this is Glow. You can get it over at getglow.io. And also, if you check out the interview show I did last week with Phil, I did a big, long interview with him, and I hadn't checked out his plugin, and I started checking out the plugin, and it's a really fantastic plugin. The system is quite good. Glow combines into one area for managing your multiple websites. It combines the support, maintenance, reporting, all in one dashboard. The dashboard it gives you is quite fantastic. They have a pricing structure that is perfect to start. You can get up to 3 websites, which is perfect to examine it. You throw three different websites on there, and by the time you've loaded them up, you know where.
Hello. You've gone silent to me. I don't know if you've gone silent to other people.
What's that? I've gone silent.
You went silent to me, but I don't know if you did to other people.
Oh, well, I can't help that. Quadratic camels, integral beavers. I've catch something.
No sound, yeah.
No sound. No sound. Okay.
I don't know. I think, are we still having no sound, I wonder? Or are they 30 seconds behind, maybe? Oh, it sounds back, so.
Sounds back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You vanished.
I vanished while talking about that. I was recording sound here, and I can see that I'm recording all the sound here. So it's something connected between here and YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
YouTube.
They're kind of one and the same entity these days, aren't they?
They are the same entity. All right, well, let's go back down to wandering and talking. You guys have seen the different things on the screen I was showcasing here. You got the pay-as-you-go pricing. It's got a support ticket system that you can set up on here. You can set up your own DNS system or your DNS so that you can use your own subdomain to run your ticket managing system. You can set up your clients to be part of the ticketing system. The ticketing system, your clients can raise a ticket with you simply by sending you an email. It does take a while to get all of this stuff set up, but it allows you to have all your ticketing in the same place that your dashboard is at for managing the client sites. The nice thing about it is as they raise them, you can make sure these tickets are assigned to that particular client so that the time can be tracked. Because not all time in a management of a website is covered under their monthly management fee. So you'll want ways to you can track that time and know that you can then properly charge for that time. So you can raise the tickets. You got team collaboration. If you got more than one team member, when you get a ticket, you can assign it to a team member who then takes over responsibility for managing that ticket. It's also got time tracking, which I haven't quite figured out how it works. It's kind of limited in its function, but I understand they're trying to work on doing some more stuff with it. But the time tracking, a very fantastic thing in it. And, we've got also in here the security and maintenance. It will monitor your security updates as you do them, and it'll tell you, it keeps track of this stuff. So when you create a report, it pulls in everything that you've done and slaps it into a nice, beautiful report that you can then send to your client. It also has connections into Google Analytics and the Google Search Console, so you can bring in data like that. You can create your reports on an automated schedule. Like I said, you can white label have your own branded dashboard, so it looks just like your company once you get it all tweaked and set up. And then they've got support for you to help you through on multiple things. All in all, I was rather quite impressed with how this works. I hadn't used a management dashboard in several years because the last time I used one, it just didn't do what I needed, and it didn't provide me with anything more useful than everything I was already doing manually. This one, the biggest thing I can say about Glow is the report, because it's really provide your client with a monthly report after you've done something that is nice, easy to assemble, PDFs out, and then you just email it to them with information and use that to tell your clients, hey, we've got this problem going on, which is outside the scope of the management. It's going to cost you this much to get it done. Can we get approval to do the work, etc.? In other words, ways to keep in contact with your clients and improve your outflow on it. All in all, quite fantastic plugin and a fantastic system. I give Glow a 5 dragon rating. And also, just so you know, if you go over to Influence WP, you can get a deal on Glow. It's a fantastic deal. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I can tell you it's the best deal that's offered anywhere for Glow, but you have to be signed into WP. I'd click to it, but I'm already signed in, so you would see the deal, and I didn't want to give it away. So you got to go over. I realized that when I opened up WP. I said, wait, I'm signed in. I can't click this link. All right.
Oh.
So go check it out. That is Glow.
Yeah, I really, really like that. Everything that I've seen so far with this is amazing, and I want to bow down to it because after writing all these different things, this like took everything that I wrote and streamlined it. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's going to save us a lot of time with our maintenance clients. It'll take us a little while to get it fully flowing and functioning, but in the end, it's going to save us tons of time. And I believe it's good.
So worth it.
I believe it's going to increase our income because of our more regular contact with clients.
Yeah.
Remember, folks, the easiest money you will make are the clients you already have.
Oh, yeah.
All right. With that.
So this is the WordPress tips that I have. If anybody out there has some WordPress tips of their own that they'd like to send in, things like what did you break and then learn how to fix, or what did somebody else break that you helped them fix, or what kind of advice do you think would be good to pass on to the younger generation? You know, something that you wish you knew then, what you know now kind of deal. That is totally awesome and absolutely encouraged. So for today, have fun with your work. And I'm sure there are quite a few people who kind of wish they had remembered to have fun with their work over the last few years. Or just like when they first started, forgetting to have fun, you end up getting kind of burnt out. Well, have fun with your work. We do have to be professional, like most of the time, but there are always going to be a couple clients who you end up becoming pretty friendly with, and you don't have to stay completely professional. You can actually crack a couple of dad jokes with them and stuff like that. There's also the coworkers who you can be completely ridiculous with, and there are areas in your work where you are still able to be professional, but you can still have fun with it. Like the first thing that I thought of was when you're writing code, throw in something that is informative, but also kind of entertaining into the code. And so it helps the next person who has to go through it with a fine tooth comb. They get a bit of a laugh while still getting the information they need. It's always worth it. And I mean, there's also just a million ways that you can try to have fun. Throw in jokes, have fun with your coworkers. Look for ways all the time, and you'll find yourself having more laughs than you ever thought possible in your work. And it will help to lighten your day. It'll help to pass the time, and it'll help keep you from getting burnt out. And there's also another aspect too, the whole all work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy. You never want that ending, ever. On to dragon rating time.
Yep, absolutely.
So today's plugin that I'm covering is all-in-one accessibility. I actually really like this. And this was sent in by a Curate bot with Skynet Technologies. Yes, Skynet Technologies. They're coming. I can't help it, but I think of the Terminator every time I read it, and I am probably an eternal 12-year-old for thinking like that, but that's okay. I love it. So to get on to the actual important information, the plugin itself, it's actually really awesome. Once you have downloaded and activated this lovely plugin, you will see all-in-one accessibility in your left-hand menu. You click on this and you'll be brought to the all-in-one accessibility settings page. There's only one page of settings. Now, this is where you get to personalize it. You'll get to change the color of the widget that will be showing up on your front page. You can change the color. Like if you have a company color, go with that. I, of course, chose fluorescent pink to test it out. It looks really cool. You also get to choose where it's going to sit, whether it's going to be at the top, the bottom, the middle, left, right. You get to choose. You can choose how big your little widget is going to be on your front page, whether it's regular or oversized, although the oversized option only works on PC. So be aware of that. If you choose oversized, don't expect it to be oversized in tablet and mobile. It's just going to work on the PC for oversized. And then you get to choose what symbol you're going to use. Most of the symbols made a lot of sense to me. Like they have the wheelchair or the text or glasses, like, all the different symbols. A couple of them don't make sense though. Like one of them is a little gears, a little picture of gears that you usually use for settings. And then another one is it looked like one of those toxic signs that make me think of like the toxic sludge from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I honestly, I don't know why that's there. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's still cool. And after you choose the image you're going to use, you get to choose there's a few more things. You click Save Changes, and that's all you need to do. Then you go to your front page, click on the icon that you've so lovingly created, and you get a whole bunch of options. So other than where you get to personalize the color and the size and everything and where it sits, it is kind of a plug and play in the sense that it creates for you the following options: reading mask, high contrast, font size. For all of the ones that have a size differentiation, the default is 100% and it goes down to 10%. Line height from 100 to 10%. Letter spacing, the same percentage. Content scaling with the same percentages. And then readable font, which is, for those who don't know, readable font is for people who have dyslexia. I tend to use readable font just about everywhere I go, everywhere I can, because even people who don't have dyslexia, this font really does help you to read everything. You can do speed reading so much easier with this font. You can align it right, align it center, align it left, hide the images, which I thought was really cool. It doesn't like change the spacing or anything when you click on that. All it does is it makes them invisible, which is really cool. Text magnifier, which works by when your mouse hovers over it, a little bubble pops up showing you whatever the word is, only much bigger. Highlight links. All the links will end up with like a color around it. And highlight titles. This one doesn't like highlight the whole thing. It shows like an outline. So it's really cool, like that. The single site plans, it highlights the links. It's really cool. And the titles like that. Testing out all the options on my very damaged sandbox, everything worked very smoothly. It played well with others and seems to be surprisingly lightweight for all the things that it can do. I really like it. Works really well, and this is a free version. I would love to see something like this for a backend in the future too. Like, this would be so cool. Having a readable font for a backend of a site, that'd be awesome. I rate this at 5 dragons.
That's very cool. I was just poking around their website while you chatted on the YouTubes. Their free version's only a 10-day free trial.
Oh, I missed that.
Okay. And
glad that you poked around a little bit more than I did.
It's a 10-day free trial, and their pricing for a small site is $250 a year. So it's not an inexpensive plugin, but it could be a very important plugin for you. Depends on your absolute needs for a website as to how well you need this much accessibility. So keep that in mind, folks. Other than that, sounds like a really fantastic plugin.
Well, also to keep in mind, a lot of the accessibility rules that are coming down the line, you might want to take what's coming in the future into consideration when looking at items like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are going to have to do this, or they're going to have to do all the manual stuff as they build out their websites. One of the two.
Yes.
And the European Union is the first one with certain accessibility laws and rules coming into effect this year. All right.
Yeah, but because they're going to have it coming into effect, that means that other places are going to follow suit and other places are going to get ideas. So be aware, keep an eye on it.
Yep. Well, they've tended to lead the way with privacy laws and everything else too. So, at any rate, that's what's heading down the pike, folks. All right.
Next up, we have the miscellaneous announcements. So in here, if you are going to be up on like a WordCamp stage or something, send it in to us. We'll put it right here for you. Currently, we have the next 5 WordCamps that are popping up. We have WordCamp Campus Connect Ribera del Duero. That is 22nd, 25th of May. We have WordCamp Europe in June. WordCamp Pokhara in June 13th to 14th, WordCamp Brisbane, Australia, June 14th to 15th, and Uganda website projects competition on June 20th. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you live in those areas. If you want to see the entire list, you can follow the link just below. And if you're looking for a meetup for WordPress and you want to find a meetup in your area, we also have a link for that. Next, we have our affiliate section. As my dad slowly dies.
Yeah. There you go. All right. No, I'm not slowly dying. I'm just, a little bit of gagging here and there as the phlegm ball gets caught. Using the coffee to keep it washed down right now. All right. So what do we got for affiliates? We're very picky about the affiliates that we promote. We only have 3 currently. And the first one we're talking about is Termageddon, which is a nice, simple, easy, affordable way to comply with all the privacy laws, regulations, cookie laws across the world in one easy spot. All you do is you sign up, use our affiliate link, or if you can buy it direct from us, we'll help set it up for you. But you sign up, you go answer a bunch of questions, and you go dump the code onto your website and the proper pages, and you're done. And now, even as those laws change, they keep the privacy policies up to date based upon your questions. And if they feel like you have to answer new questions, they'll contact you and say, hey, there's some new questions you probably answer. So go check them out. Termageddon, fantastic way to keep your terms of service, your privacy policies, your cookie policies, all the policies you need, all up to date and secured.
Another one we have is Rank Math, which is a fantastic SEO plugin to work with. The company is great. They treat you like you're actually a human, whether or not you're using the free version or the premium version. I really like that. The documentation is really easy to understand because they use human speech rather than legalese or like thesaurus diction. It's really nice. It's easy to understand. They have easy how-tos that you can follow to help you get better SEO results as well. Lots of free information to help you get the best results possible. They're great to work with, and no matter what your experience level, highly recommend you check them out.
Absolutely. And the final one we've got for you is BunnyNet. Bunny.net. Very affordable CDN network. Very fast and easily to use. And there's a couple of plugins we've reviewed in the recent months that easily allow you to connect up your WordPress site directly to BunnyNet. So when you upload your files to your website, they get uploaded directly to your BunnyNet and served from there. Served from around the globe, and nice, fast, quick, all your file types. And the best part is it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to have that done and delivered. Their bandwidth is dirt cheap and fast. So go check them out. BunnyNet.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A-Z.
And here we have, here we talk a bit about our producership credits. They are a thing. They do actually exist, and we offer them up to those who donate through time, talent, or treasure. Make your choice because we love all three. If you are interested in learning more about the time, talent, or treasure donations, you can go to our website at WPPluginsAtoZ.com and click on the left-hand menu. We have direct links to it. Today's plugins we covered were...
I covered up the Glow Site Management System by Glow. Fantastic plugin. Combines support, maintenance, and reporting all in one place. Great for managing multiple sites. You get started with their 3-site version. All the exact same tools as you move up to more and more sites. So everything is included in the initial free version, which gives you 3 sites. You can brand your dashboard your way so that it's all white label and your customers think it's all you and you're not using an SAS service. And you can actually set it up as a subdomain on your own domain system so that it does look like it's you, because they would log in through a subdomain off of your domain. Go check it out. I gave it a 5-dragon rating.
And I covered all-in-one accessibility by Skynet Technologies. Customizable icon and colors. Everything is provided for you, including a short description that's right there on the page, which I forgot to mention before, and a lightweight plugin that plays well with others. I rated this at 5 dragons. And if you are interested in reaching out to us, if you feel like flinging us something through the snail mail system, we do have our brick and mortar address right there for you. And if you feel like you need more immediate access to us, we have our online addresses that you can reach us at as well.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
So here's where I question my dad. Sometimes I come close to stumping him, have stumped him once. If anybody out there has any questions they'd like to have serious answers to, though, please feel free to send them in, because it doesn't matter if you think the question is not great. Chances are somebody else has the same question. So send them in, get the answer, and not just get the answer for yourself, but get it in for everyone else who's too shy to ask the question. So my first question is, what exactly does a cache plugin do? Are you creating caches or deleting them? How does this work?
You're doing both. All right. What a caching plugin does is how WordPress works is someone hits the website, all the PHP code runs. It runs all the database queries, and then it spits out HTML code, which is what you view on the site is the HTML code. What the caching plugin does is it takes that final version of the HTML code, gives it a new label, and now when somebody comes back to that page, instead of having to run all those database queries and everything else all over again in PHP code, it goes, hey, wait, I've got this HTML that is already ready to go. Take that. And it saves whatever seconds, microseconds or seconds to not run all the PHP queries and all the MSQL queries and blah, 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 blah. And you are creating them and you are deleting them. The caching plugin we use, can't remember the name of it right now, WP Fastest Cache. It creates the cache, the pages on the fly. Or I set them up sometimes so that it automatically creates the pages. And so what happens is they're created, but every time you create a new post or you make a minor change in the back end for a particular page, that page's cache is now deleted so it can be recreated because you've changed something. So it has to be deleted to recreate the cache, which is why you often hear the thing, clear your caches. Whenever you're updating your website, there's a little button up the top of your menu that says clear cache, so it clears the website cache, which is different than your browser cache because your browser cache is a whole nother set of cached items. So you got caches all along the line. So yeah, you're doing both. You're creating caches and you're deleting them as you go, depending on what is needed to be done.
Okay. And so for this question, looking for a clearer explanation on how deleting caches on your site can help someone on their personal browser navigate faster on your site.
Well, that's a weird one because deleting the cache on your site usually doesn't help it load faster. It helps load it more.
Navigate fast.
Help even navigate faster. I don't see how, because when you're creating that cache, your navigation is supposed to be going faster. The navigation through the site is supposed to be faster when you created the cache. So deleting the cache means if they're hitting the page for the first time, that means they're getting the page before the cache is created. They come back to it a second time, it loads faster. So, the biggest thing that happens is somebody's going, well, I don't see what you're talking about. They're not logged in or whatever. And they say, well, you made changes, but you got to tell them, okay, we'll delete the cache on the website and tell them to delete the cache on their browser because they got to clear their browser cache because their browser's already cached some of that stuff. So you got to clear that. And now when they go visit the page again, they'll get a fresh, brand new creation of that page. Did that make any sense whatsoever?
Yes. These are questions that somebody had me ask. I think what they were trying to understand is why they need both the caching plugin when they can just clear their browser.
Yeah, well, the browser cache is separate from a caching plugin on your site.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. Thank you.
All right.
You have all the right words here. That's why I need to ask you because you have the best words.
Yeah, okay. If you say so.
Yep.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show part. That is for those of you listening to the downloads, pulling it from your favorite podcast app or listening directly off the website. If you're listening here on YouTube, stick around for a couple of minutes. We're going to play the in-show credits that go to the posted show out on the podcast verse or podcast world, and we'll be right back. Let our girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at WPPluginsAtoZ.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to WPPluginsAtoZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using WPPluginsAtoZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsAtoZ. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
All right. So my next question for you is, what is this WebP image that is now accepted everywhere, and why is it better than a PNG? Uh-oh, not hearing you.
That's because I was muted. How's that? All right. It's a type of vectored image. It's more compressed than a PNG. It contains more data, and so it's smaller. It contains more data than a PNG, but yet is more compressed than a PNG. So it's a cleaner, sharper, more compressed image, which is smaller in file size, which delivers faster. What it is. When it was originally created, nobody could use it. You couldn't edit it anywhere. Nobody accepted it. It's kind of like back in the days when PNGs were first created. And so over time, they've actually got another image format I've taught recently. I can't remember what it is now. So they keep changing. But they keep getting more and more compression while maintaining the quality and sharpness of the image. And that's what WebP is. It's a faster image. And that's why it's better than a PNG. And also,
Right.
Because it's a vectored image, it allows for the transparent background. That's one of the big drawbacks of JPEGs. JPEGs could not have a transparent background. That's where the PNG was created for.
Okay. Next question is, with the newer everything going on all the time, do you think older styled images are going to depreciate and just stop showing up on sites where they already are? Is that even a thing? And if it is, how long does it tend to take?
They're not going to disappear entirely. They'll just be less and less used as time goes by.
Okay.
It's like the standard for the longest time was the GIF image.
Oh, I thought it was JPEG.
No, GIF was the standard in the beginning, and then JPEG became the standard because you could get a higher quality image out of a JPEG than you could a GIF. Actually, the BMP image was the first one, I believe. And, they still exist. They're still used occasionally. There's purposes for them, like GIFs are now used for making your movable images. Although I think that can be done with WebP. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it, but, what happens is over time, the people just migrate away from it because there's so much out there that's already done in these formats. They're not just going to one day delete them because you're talking hundreds of hours of time to do something like that, and yet it still works. Why would you bother changing? Just going forward, you use the newer format. The biggest problem is WebP is only in the last year or so become supported by all browsers. For a while, it wasn't supported by all browsers, and for a while, you couldn't. If you did get a WebP image, you couldn't edit it anywhere. Photoshop took them till 2023, I think, before they allowed it to be edited. So
that is really interesting.
There's a lot going on around it, and the images, basically what they're trying to do is find ways to compress stuff while maintaining the image quality, and so that it's delivered faster and cleaner.
Okay, so what was going through my mind when I asked that question was I was thinking about how we moved on from like the Flash. I don't even remember what the Flash was for, but
we haven't moved on from Flash. It was forced away from us.
Okay, well, things that had it there stopped working.
Yes.
So that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, if a picture is old enough, are the JPEGs or the PNGs, are they just going to vanish?
No,
they're
still
kind of like the Flash.
They're still going to work. No, Flash vanished because Flash was code. Flash was a type of code. I actually wrote a few things in Flash. I really enjoyed it. I did some cool stuff in Flash. And basically the problem with Flash was they couldn't get it properly secured. It was the most insecure thing going. and it was a constant vector for attacks.
Oh, okay, I understand.
And so
Uh,
Apple started the crushing of Flash because Apple refused to support it on the iPhone.
oh, okay, that makes sense.
And
So, okay, don't have to worry about your images vanishing.
No, your images are images. You know, granted, in JPEGs and I can't remember the others, you can hide other things in there. I mean, there was a time where we used to hide all kinds of cool stuff in images and
I remember.
transmit them. I imagine it's still being done, but it's probably not being done.
probably.
It's probably not being talked about much anymore. But there were some cool things we could do with them. And of course,
Oh,
go ahead.
of course, what?
And then with the rise of AI to find things, how long before SEO pivots to prefer AI readable or AI optimized content over human? It's already there.
Well, yeah, all I have to do is look at the Google search results.
It's already there, Hamdian, and there's a couple of plugins out there already. I think we covered one of them to start creating the new file format that the LLM .text file that is being pushed as a standard or a way to present your website to LLMs. And there's a plugin that I reviewed several episodes back that helps you create that LLM text file. So it's already there. And it's
AI is changing us whether we like it or not.
Yeah, we're not getting away from it. It's like when I finally decided to accept it back at the end of last year, I went, okay. And it's just gotten better. And as I've dove into it, I realized that it is a benefit for me if I use it in the way as a tool, you know, like you use a hammer to pound nails. You don't use a screwdriver to pound nails. You know, you use it as a tool to help you with the project. Well, lots of other people are using it in lots of other weird ways, but hey, to each his own. So yeah, no, the old style images aren't going to just stop showing up. They're going to still be there. I mean, you can still read BMPs on the internet. And
I don't know what that is.
.bmp image file. I still have a few of them in all my old image folders because they were the image folder of choice. Even the .tiffs are still readable.
Yeah, you're speaking things I don't understand.
Yeah, well, these are all the old file formats that were standard for use on the internet. A .tiff file, though, is so huge. Like a JPEG file might be 100K. A .tiff file of the exact same image will be 1.6 megs.
Oh, geez.
You know, it's like each image, you know, because of the way digital images work, it's how much data is contained in that image to allow you to see the image, to make the image look proper. And different ones, bitmaps, yeah. Bitmap plugins. That's at BMP, that might have been bitmap. Yeah, it might have stood for bitmap. I don't remember.
All right. Well, with all that, I think that is the end of our show today.
All right, we're all done, folks. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. We see there's a few people here. Spread the word, folks. Tell more and more people about us. And while you're at it and you're still there, hit the like button. That might actually help improve the reach of these shows, although we have been getting more and more traffic on these shows lately. So with all of that being said, thanks, everyone. A little bit of music. Carry us on out.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning
Alrighty, folks, that's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
Oh no. Obviously, we just lost the satellite feed. That's